Hello and welcome everybody back to the Dumbass class with me, Dyslexic Gamer. As we carry on our tabletop RPG night with more Warhammer Fantasy 2nd edition, Mordheim, City of the Damned, A Leaf Too Far. In the last episode, our group of adventurers and heroes had found themselves in the small town of Vorstborg, a town which they had heard, once they were there, that they had suffered a malady. The townspeople called it a plague, that only affected the young people, which was quite suspicious and brought up a few questions, but unfortunately with no one to examine or check, there's not really any threads to follow. But the next day, after having a decent night's sleep in proper beds and having a decent cooked breakfast as well, the party decided to go into town and do some shopping at the marketplace. However, before they got an opportunity to do any shopping, a young girl came screaming out, and they heard the sounds of wolves howling in the distance, along with a hunting dog. They were given the quest to save the young nobleman's. He's a young noble daughter's hound, and the party accepted, charging off out of Warsport into the scrublands surrounding. They found the wolves, and after a quick skirmish and a few nail-biting moments, at least for Sir Barkey, the team had vanquished some of the wolves and chased the others off. We find ourselves now just at the end of the combat. Those members of the team who fired off missiles have tried to retrieve them. Some have, some haven't. And I believe Blackbeard is eyeing up the corpses of these two wolves with a bit of greedy avarice, perhaps. Wow, you found one and lost one. So Iron Hand, sorry, not Iron Hand, Black Hand. After you retrieve your arrows, you have the opportunity to skin the corpses.
I will do so.
Now, you have two options here, or I will give you two options. If you can think of a third, tell me. You can either skin the corpses, taking as much time as needed. I'd probably say about half an hour. And you will skin the corpses. They will just be plain corpses. They will not, plain pelts. Won't be anything special. You may have some waste material. If you give me a skill check, however, you can do it quicker. You might be able to do the cut better, thus gaining more money. If you fail, you will of course take the pelts down to poor quality. So I'll leave it up to you or whoever wants to skin the wolves.
So, if I don't do the check, it's poor quality?
No, it'll be normal quality, you just use up more time.
Alright, and what would be my...
So it would be, skill-wise...
What would be my...
It would be either a... it would either be an outdoor survival or a leather, a tanning or a leather skill.
Yeah, I think I will just take the long normal skin.
Sure.
twice.
Sure. So, also, if any of the rest of the group would like to help in this, if you see what Black Hand's doing and think, that's not actually a bad idea, you can help, and then it will be, half an hour each. But Black Hand, you go about, you take out a knife or a blade that you have on you, and begin running the blade down the stomach of the wolf, going round the legs, the wrists, and preparing to skin it.
So 2 wolves. So 2 wolves each for 210. 2 gold, 10 silver piece.
Yes, that is right.
Alright.
So what would the rest of you do? And I tell you what, you would probably know this. This would be common knowledge. There is wolf meat there. Wolf meat is by no means enjoyable food to eat. Most carnivores aren't, especially doggos that eat corpses. And yeah, you can sell the meat. You wouldn't get much for it. You'd probably only get... Oh, I had the price down. I believe I was saying that I believe I was thinking that for wolf meat it would essentially be the same price as 2 chickens, which I think is 2 silver a piece.
And so I got 1 wolf meat for 4 silver.
Yeah, so two wolf carcasses would get you 4 silver on top. I mean, or you could eat it yourselves.
Well, not really. I will sell it.
Okay, so as one of your company starts chopping up the corpses and taking what's valuable and what's not, would the rest of you do anything? Sir Barky is currently sat down, licking parts of his face, trying to lap up onto his snout.
If I may I attempt an animal handling or a medicine roll to bandage Sir Barky, I suppose?
So, you won't need to do an animal handling. Yeah, sure. Give me roll a d100, and I'll bring up your sheet so we can have a look and see if you pass.
What's your heal skill at?
I've never seen that come up before.
Oh.
Did you add a minus to your roll?
No, so he's just doing a 1d100 because he's on his phone. Do you want to roll and see if you can roll another d100 and see if it comes through?
Oh, did you not receive that roll?
No, it's come up with attempted to make 1 roll, but the result was never received. I've never seen that message.
It said that I just rolled a 30.
Yeah, we're not receiving those rolls.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Okay, so
That's irritating.
I'll go with your. So you succeed in the in the animal handling check, and Sir Barky comes over to you and sits down next to you, and you're able to have a good look at the wounds. You can see there are deep lacerations in his face where the wolf's fangs have dug into his snout. But you'd also note that his breed has very flabby skin on his face. So although there is a lot of blood and it looks nasty, it does seem to just be lacerations to the skin.
Hello.
Oh,
Oh,
Hello.
I had my volume at 100% there, and
Hey.
it went right in my ear. Hello.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
Oh, I don't know about that. I feel like death.
Well, you've only missed about 2 minutes or well, no, 10 minutes, and 5 minutes
Oh.
were intro. So
Okay.
So the wounds themselves don't seem life-threatening. You could attempt a healing check. However, I don't think any of the group have any healing poultices on them. Any ones that you would have been allowed to use on the boat would have remained on the boat unless you had attempted to steal one. And no one did. You can, if anyone would like to attempt a heal check, just to check the wounds, apply pressure to help stop, or not apply pressure, use a rag or something to apply pressure.
Is if no one else is going to do it, I'll just wrap it up with a piece of cloth.
I mean, I have a 0 in my heal, so
I have 53 in my heal skill.
Well, your skill is by far better than mine. So if you wish to assist me, or if you wish to do it, go for it. Otherwise,
Sure.
I'm going to proceed.
Okay, so you successfully heal one of Sir Barky's wounds, and you wrap bandages around his snout. You also do a good job to make sure that it's tight enough that it won't fall off as he attempts to lick and move his mouth and whimper and whine and make all sorts of noises. You've made the bandage well, you've put it on well enough so that there is a bit of flex. It's not going to fall straight off once he licks his balls, for instance.
can I do something before she wraps the bandage?
What would you like to do?
I would like to wash his snout with a little bit of alcohol so he doesn't get an infection.
You could.
He's probably not gonna like me, but it's for the better pooch. So yeah, I'll just take a napkin, put some alcohol in it, and just put on the wound before Olivia actually heals.
Sure. There was a successful animal handling check, so I'll let that roll over through that, the dog's calm enough and happy enough with the company he's in. So he doesn't, although he does whimper and whine, he doesn't lash out in fear. He seems to understand that this is for his own good.
Okay, that's all I'm going to do. I'll go
I
back to
was
spinning
kind of
arrow and give it
expecting
out.
the heal roll to include, cleaning the wounds, stuff like that.
So the way that because infection is a thing in this game, I do always want to hear you guys say that you pour alcohol on the wound. I did a piss poor job in the first battle. I retconned it, which I shouldn't really do. But yeah, if you ever get wounded, if you're like, I splash a bit of alcohol on the wound, I cannot then get you with infection, because again, you're using. If you buy a poultice, depending on who's made that poultice, it might not have been made right. Therefore, you could be smudging in cow dung into a wound, which would then lead to more infection. If anyone becomes a fire mage, for example, you can also cauterize wounds, applying heat.
Not to be annoying, but cauterizing actually increases the chance of infection. Just an FYI.
Well, in this game, it stops bleeding and would, in my mind anyway, kill off any infection from a dirty blade, for example, or from an arrow. Although you would still need to perform a heal check and check the wound each day to make sure you didn't get secondary infections. It just prevents me. It's more important later on, like for example when you go into sewers or you fight the Skaven, or that's when it's like, did you alcohol your wound? You didn't? Good. Toughness test +10.
Super tense.
But you spend, the time sorting out Sir Barky, and Blackhand skins the corpses and takes the wolves and takes the corpses. You spend an hour here doing all of that. Admittedly, you are all waiting around for at least 40 minutes whilst Blackhand sorts out the other wolf. But after that, you're able to head off back to the town, and Sir Barky seems quite eager to get back to his little mistress. So, if there are no objections, the party heads back. You head back, and Sir Barky seems to lead the way, holding his scars as a as a badge of his bravery. You would see as you come closer to the town, up to the wooden walls that surround it, that the young girl is not there, but the maid who was accompanying her is. And as she sees you in the distance, she raises up her arm and gives you a wave. But although you may not speed up, Sir Barky does. He leaves you behind and charges off towards the maid. And you would see that she goes into the town again, behind the walls, and after a couple of moments, you see the young girl come charging out. You can almost hear her squeals of joy as she's reunited with her pooch.
Here he is, your dog.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't believe he's still alive. Oh, you're my heroes. Sir Barky, look at you. What happened?
Well, he will probably need some attention. Wolf got a bit catty.
Well, thank you so much. You've kept my little puppy alive. How can I?
She kind of flusters for a moment, not knowing what to do, before looking up at her maid, and her maid looks down at her and gives a nod and steps towards you all. Now, I know my lady did not specify a reward, but given that you returned with Sabaki, I think this is more than enough to convey how happy my lady is. She places a modest purse into whoever's hand is outstretched.
I guess that would be me.
Sure. You feel the bag in your palm. It feels quite weighty. Feels like there's definitely a few gold there.
I say thank you, and I ask, do you have anything left that you may want us to have?
Oh, no, thank you, though, you very kind to offer, but, I'll have to take the young miss home and, explain to the Lord, what transpired, but, I'll be assured to put in a good word for you. Do you have a company name, or are you associated with a house?
I tell the name of our Lord. I'm looking for his name now.
Humperdinck?
Humperdinck. The associate is of Lord Humperdinck.
Oh my. Well, yes, I shall inform my master that Lord Humperdinck's men assisted. He will be in his debt, I'm assured.
Well, it was more our own initiative. I don't really think you should be owing a debt to.
Forgive me, Master Dwarf, but my lord cares little for those of my line.
All I'm trying to say is that Humperdinck doesn't know of our exploits today. So if my lord doesn't know it, the dwarf shirks.
Are you sure? I'm sure he would be most pleased to hear that your band has given assistance to my lord. He is the lord of, well, she gestures at the surrounding area.
I'm pretty sure Mr. Humperdinck would probably be glad, yes. So, yes, if you must, you can inform him.
Very well. I thank you all again, and know that if you ever come back here and do need assistance, by all means, the young lady will not soon forget this. You hear the young lady behind the maid calling that she must get Sir Barkey looked at. His grievous wounds must be attended to. And the maid looks back at you and curtsies. And thank you again. And she makes her way off. Once she leaves and you deem it appropriate to, once you count out the coins, you would note that there's 30 gold coins there for quite trivial work.
I don't say anything. I say, well, that was a good pay.
Yeah. Surprisingly lucrative for such a easy job, to be perfectly honest. Definitely a noble family. Higher up noble.
I mean,
Did we
I
catch
guess
their name?
You didn't catch their name, but you did see. You would have all seen the engraving on Sir Barkey's armor. It was that of a horse's head.
Okay.
No, whoever it was, they will be happy with Emperdink. That means Emperdink will be happy with us, so profit.
Oh, sorry, it was a horse's head with 2 mining picks behind it.
Okay, I'll take that down.
Well then, I do believe it's time for breakfast. And Rayleigh will just head off into the tavern.
How early was it?
I actually believe you've already had breakfast. That was at this morning. It's about 9:30, 10 o'clock when you came to the market. You've spent at least an hour in the fields. So it's about 11. You could call it lunchtime, if you wish.
Time for brunch.
I meant lunch, not breakfast. Sorry. I didn't know the time.
Yeah, lunch sounds good. I'll follow him back into the bar too.
Olivia will follow as well, and prepare a small list of items she might need.
We should probably see, Rayleigh says as she's walking, should probably see if we can grab a few poultices for you, Olivia. They could save our lives.
That was the plan.
Also, some healing drop, just in case.
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So sure. You could spend half an hour. You've got to walk past the markets anyway, to pick up some things and then head back to the tavern for lunch.
I have to ask, did Blackhand give us the coins, or did he just pocket them?
Well, I think I would have distributed it.
That was
Did
well.
we? I would
Very
also have
good.
sold the carcasses and the.
It was 30 gold crowns, you said?
30 between 6.
So,
No, so 5. Okay.
do you also want money of the wolves? For the
Yes,
elves?
please.
Do the elves also want wolf money or not?
Nah, really, it's fine. If it's just a few coins, she won't take it. Even though she might because she's a hunter, but nah, not this time.
Okay, so everyone can take 5 gold coins.
Yep.
Is everyone here?
It's
Yes.
just Jazina who's missing, but I can note that down.
Yeah, Yasina get 5 gold coins.
Good.
Then, who wants wolf money?
I'll take some wolf money. Sure, Jazina will, for being bit by them quite a few times. It was bit with
So,
them?
we're with 3 for the wolf money? No one else? Once, twice. Alright. So the ones with wolf money can get everyone can get 1 gold coin and 16 silver. Who wants wolf money?
Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank God I have a bag.
Oh no.
Alright then.
Yes, all we have to do now is sit back, relax, and wait for the merchant to move over. Or we could see if they have anything quick for us to do. They should probably have a task board in this town somewhere.
I'd want to buy a few things off the market.
So yeah, that'd be good.
Sure, by all means. You have well, it's the 11th today, so tomorrow you head off. Yes, it's 11th today, so you can spend the day however you want. If you want to go through the marketplace and see what's available, you can. And if you want to just relax for the rest of the day, then by all means, it's entirely up to you. Or you can ask the townspeople about things.
Is there an apothecary in town? Or anyone who would sell healing supplies? Like healing draft?
There probably wouldn't be a proper apothecarian here. Maybe at the Lord's Manor, but there would be someone in town selling healing items and herbs, things of that nature. So yeah, you can get poultices and things like that. I don't think there's anyone selling potions though.
Anyone selling leather armor?
Yep, you could find someone who is selling leather armor.
Alright.
So nobody to sell healing draft? Only poultices?
Yeah, I think healing drafts are rare. I'm just trying to find their rarity. So essentially anything that's scarce, I let you guys have. It will be there in the market. Anything above scarce, you have to roll for, or there just isn't, the population isn't big enough and the item's too rare for them to sell.
Healing draft is average availability.
Ah, okay. No, so I was wrong there. So yes, you would be able to find healing potions.
Okay. I think they are at 5 gold each.
Healing draft, yes. Rally will buy one healing draft.
I'll take 2.
She'll also procure a few healing poultices for Olivia.
Sure. You would all notice that whilst you're in town doing your shopping, one of the noble lord's hirelings comes over and calls Magness, and apparently they want to bring his boat out and have a look at it and repair some of the damage that one of them did before. He grumbles, but he goes off with them.
What do healing poultices cost?
5 pennies. Rally bought 10 poultices. She'll keep on her, but these are for you.
Oh, I thought you meant potions. 5 pennies for a healing potion? Holy crap.
Technically, those can only be used by a healer, and they are basically only meant to increase the amount of healing he can give you, especially if you're heavily injured.
Well, they are cheap as fuck, so I'll take 10.
I would like to...
Actually, aren't healing poultices only used if you're heavily injured?
Lightly injured or so I think if in the description it says if you're heavily injured, this healing item doesn't work. I've retconned that because screw that shit. You can drink as many potions as you want, up to your healing, up to your toughness bonus.
Actually, poultices, if you're heavily injured and someone tries to heal you, you only heal 1 HP, but if you use a poultice, you heal 1d10, and you count as lightly wounded. That's what they're used for.
So yeah, it was the healing potion that says if you're heavily wounded, it doesn't do anything. I got rid of that. I don't like that rule.
I need to do some math. How many healing poultices can I get for 1 silver shilling?
A ton.
Upload. Yeah.
Because actually, not really. 1 silver shilling is 12 brass pennies.
Yeah.
Just get 1 gold crown, transform it into 240 brass pennies, and just take off 50. So you have 190 brass pennies.
Or spend a gold
So,
crown's worth and get
Or 70
how do you
pennies
come at
and 10 shillings.
190 brass pennies?
240. There's an exchange rate on the inventory.
Yes, for 1 gold coin.
yeah.
So
That
I just, in my case, I just changed 1 gold crown to the brass pennies.
I mean, you could get 40 for 1 gold crown. Maybe.
Yeah, I could get 48 for 1 gold crown.
Even then, you can
Although they don't have encumbrance, I don't think it's, carrying 40 potions in your backpack. It's kind of like not a good idea.
Well,
And
the
these
boat's
things
Well,
running
they
low.
probably come in a box, I guess. If I buy the whole damn thing.
do keep aware that potions also have an expiration date, so be careful. Don't buy more
Yeah.
than you need.
So,
So
10
you
are...
could because you've got a boat, or if this was the other game that I ran, you would have had a cart. You could buy that many and keep them on a cart on the boat. You would have to say, right, I take 10 with me each time, because otherwise I will have to give them an arbitrary weight, just so that you're not like, oh well, these weigh nothing, so I'm going to trade them and carry 100 of them wherever I go. So if you kept 10 on you, I'd think that would be a reasonable number to carry around with you in a first aid kit with a couple of potions. But yeah, you wouldn't be getting a box with them because they have to make the box, and then they would want money for the box.
Roll some pennies for the box.
There's no cardboard. If you get a box, it's wooden.
What do you think?
To be honest, I say if you're gonna take them, take only 10 poultices. With my 10, we'll have a total of 20. And we shouldn't be using these anytime soon anyway.
How much money is that in silver shilling?
Oh, you have 70. God, let me. You have 15 silver shillings left. 15.83333333. So, because that's like what?
4.16 recurring.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just take 1 gold and convert it into 240 brass pennies and keep it in your purse. I'm not too bothered about you guys having lots of lower denominations in your purses. It's only once it's like the total number is, oh, I'm carrying around 500 gold in my purse. That's when it's like, no, you're going to have to put that in a bag, in your bag. Otherwise your purse is going to be like reinforced to hold the weight of all that gold.
Or the size of a backpack.
Yeah, I don't do a money exchange rate or anything like that. I couldn't. I looked at that table and I was like, nah.
Okay, yeah, I'll just convert 1 gold into brass pennies. Go that way. So
Yeah,
I'll have 190 left. Okay.
It's a much easier system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
otherwise,
that's-
I could give you dwarven gold and it'd be 30% more than any other gold. And it's like, what? So, did you want to get some leather armor?
Yes. Jerkin and a skull cap.
I'll take leather jerkin as well. I think that's 6 gold.
Yeah, 6. I kind of feel tempted to haggle. I'm not trained in it, but
So, if you want to haggle with the random traders on the stall, you can. But it is, once it's done, it's done. There's no taking it back.
Yeah.
They're not Lord Humperdinck, so they're not nearly as good.
yeah, going by degrees of success, I don't think so. I only have 27.
I will tell you, they are all traders, so they do all have the haggle skill at the very least.
Yeah. Well, I'll buy the gherkin or the jerkin, and haggle for the skull cap, because why not? So take 6. And okay. No modifiers.
Nope.
Yeah, not a chance.
So it's 20% more for because you get 1 for from 30 to 40 is 1 degree, and then you get 1 degree for succeeding. So the merchant gets an extra 20% added on to the price of that item.
Alright, so that is 3 gold and no, 4 gold and 40 pieces? 40 silver pieces? Or 4 silver? What the hell? Alright.
Yeah, I'll
There we
just
go.
take the leather jerkin full 6 gold crowns.
I'm gonna be buying something else too in the market. I'm gonna be. Actually, no, these are scarce. I don't think we can find scarce here, can we?
No, you can find scarce, anything over scarce. You can't. If it's a particularly specialized item, I might have to roll a d100 to see if it is possible that you can find it.
It's well, it's originally an elf recipe, but the old world has access to this recipe because apparently someone killed an elf for this recipe. It's basically Fey eyes.
It's what now?
Is what it is. Fey eyes. Page 72 on Old World Armory. It's a scarce potion. Draw. If you want to roll a d100, I wouldn't mind. It's just that.
Okay, so
Can
where
get
you
my hand
bought
on
the
this.
healing drafts from, and the poultices, you'd actually see that the lady, quite old, well out of her prime, she has several other drafts on her stand. You'd see something labelled as a cure-all. As an elf, you're not quite sure what a cure-all is, but she has it labelled there. But you do find the Fey Eyes. You are very close to the Laflorin Woods after all.
Yeah, I'll buy a few of them. Now, out of character, I'm not buying quack medicine. No thanks. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else need anything?
Not particularly, unless you can find me like specifically a leather jacket.
Yeah, that's a jerkin.
I don't know. Is there a discrepancy between like a leather jacket versus leather armor?
So you can buy all the pieces of leather armor separately, or you can buy them all together. You buy a full leather armor, that's head, body, arms, and legs. I don't know who's hopping around on one leg. Well, actually, it's the old world. Maybe someone.
It's definitely someone. There's always that mutation.
I just didn't know if there was a discrepancy between like the leather jacket portion and the leather armor.
Have you got leather armor?
Yes, I have leather armor right now. I just didn't know if there was a discrepancy between that and a jacket.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, no. So basically, the full leather armor is just a full suit, and when you actually add up all the pieces, it adds up to 25 gold. It also weighs.
Okay, I follow.
If anyone needs the leather jerkin, by the way, I doubt that Livia will wear hers for long. Out of character, I just need it for apothecary.
Fair enough. Can I sell my pearl leather jerkin?
Yep, you can sell that for half its price.
Yeah, that is. There you go. You got 3 gold back. Sweet. Okay.
I think I'll wait a while before buying the apothecary kit. It's 50 gold, and I
How much money do you need to buy this apothecary kit? 50?
50 gold.
If you make me a couple of potions every once in a while, I will front half the cost.
Well, I can't make any potions yet. I just need it to become an apothecary down the line.
Okay. I was about to say, if you could make potions, I would help pay for the kits. But if you cannot make potions, then we'll have this conversation later.
Yeah. Like, I think 4 or 5 sessions down the line, I'll be able to go apothecary. And then I'll need the apothecary kit. So it's not that pressing.
I would help if needed, but if not needed, then what?
Okay, so I think I'm done shopping.
I think I am too.
Excellent. So, after an afternoon of shopping, you head back to the Waltzing Cat, the tavern that you've had room and board paid for, and you go to get some lunch. You've probably spent about an hour.
I see the... If I see the honking there, I would give her part of our quick
Okay.
sidetrack, but I won't talk about the amount of money we got. I will just say we got a remuneration.
Well, as you come back to the tavern, as you enter and all walk in, you would see that Lord Humperdinck is still sat at the table he had last night. There is quite the feast laid out before him, and there's another gentleman there in very fine. It's a uniform, but it's not a military uniform by any means. This is clearly a servant of some kind, someone who is sent to deal with nobles, and he has that air of nobility about him as well. And as you walk in, Lord Humperdinck sits there, just complete eyes for this man, just paying attention to every word he says. And as you walk in, he catches you in the corner of his eye, and well, these fine gentlemen, the group that I so thoughtfully brought on, yes. You say they have done great work for the Lord of Worcesterburg. Yes, it was my intention to have my men patrol the markets and to see if they could do any good, whereabouts they could. Let's see if Lord Humperdinck can either deceive or charm. I believe in this system there's only charm. Yeah.
Yep.
The messenger nods in appreciation, and you can see that at least his poker face says that he agrees. However, after the conversation, you can see that one of the bar wenches has brought him a drink, and he turns around to face the back of the bar away from Lord Humperdinck, and you can see him grimace as he takes the drink from the bar wench, and takes a long drink and turns back and, well, of course, my lord would be so thoughtful to help out his fellow lords. You should know that should you decide to come back, you will be, of course, welcomed at my lord's hall. You'll be a guest of his. I have been told that the maid provided what little allowance she was given to spend on the young lady. My lord does not see this as adequate, so he has, of course, provided certain immunities. Things will be provided to yourself. Lord Humperdinck's rings of sweat begin to grow around his treble chin, and oh well, that is very generous. Of course, I would be most honoured to accept any, even the trivialest of bounties from such a noble house. But of course, well, yes, my lord understands your family's predicament, and he is willing to assist you. So, please, my lord, enjoy yourself, and you'll see the cargo on your boat as you leave. He gives a very low, very gracious bow to Lord Humperdinck. He turns around towards the bar, finishing his drink and passing it back to the bar, wench, and with another grimace and a dropping of the mask, you can see the just annoyance in dealing with Lord Humperdinck. But his mask comes back on as, please, allow me to make way to my master. And he leaves. Lord Humperdinck seems extremely pleased with himself as he turns to you all and, fine work I hear you have done in my noble name. It is quite a fresh of clean and energizing air to know that I have hired on such useful hirelings this time. It is he kind of swells a bit. It is my own genius that I would think to hire you all, but you have done me proud. And I am very well aware of what you have heard here. Do not worry. I'm sure that arrangements will be made for yourselves to profit from the bounty. Keep that in mind. It may take longer than you might expect, but it will be there. The Humperdinks always pay their debts to a degree. He gestures to the barman, and you would know that all the ladies disappear, and a few moments later, as you discuss things, food is brought out, a small banquet, seemingly for yourselves.
Okay. I give Humperdinck a quick nod and tuck into my feet. My feet.
Sure. You would also note that a couple of bottles of wine have been placed down on your table. They don't appear to have much dust on them. The bottles, the labels themselves seem quite new.
Sorry.
No worries. But you are provided with a couple of bottles of seemingly not bad wine. To the elves, it's sweet piss, but yeah.
Oh,
I would go for an ale set.
could be worse, I guess.
We'll take what we can get.
Yes, as long as we're in the human empire, we will take what we can get. Well, now, I guess we eat, drink, and wait. Really will eat her food and then just go back to her car and just keep spinning her hair like she usually does.
Sure, by all means. You have a rather lavish lunch with a few drinks poured in here and there. And in the evening, you would notice that apparently the noble lord of Wustborg has sent his entertainers down to the tavern. A larger number of people are in the tavern this evening. It appears as if the town have all heard that something is going on. Many old faces turn up. There is much grey hair. But it's a lively evening. The songs are... Perhaps the dwarf in your party would find a bit of cultural appreciation going on. The sounds and melodies of the musicians and minstrels is quite dour and glum, and they sing of battles long lost and the fall of Sullen and the great warg that stripped the land. They sing of battles, but not in valiant tales of heroes, and it seems rather dour. in truth. For some of you, this may be very melancholy to hear all these tales of lost battles and well, lost provinces. But for others, it is an insightful tale into the land of, well, into the province of Wisterland and Sol. The night passes, and soon morning comes, and you're all awoken by the workers who have been informed by Lord Humperdinck that they would get everything ready and wake the mercenaries and have everything prepared for him once he arises. This is before sunup. It's about an hour before you were all called down to the boat, where you'd see that essentially the hirelings want you to guard them whilst they move certain cargoes from a warehouse on the docks onto Lord Humperdinck's boat.
Very good.
After a couple of
What
hours,
do I see? Do I spot something suspicious?
not really. There are a large number of shipping crates, large wooden pallets, and it appears as if the locals the hirelings who are lifting the crates are struggling. The size of the crates, given depending on what's in them, you would think 2 people could lift them. If it was a medium load, maybe 4. It's taking 6 men to lift the crates, and they appear to be struggling to get them up and onto the carts to move them onto the boat. And the crane, well, not onto the boat, to the dock, and then the crane that lifts the crates up is doing it in small numbers. It's not lifting 6 or 8 crates. It's moving 2 crates at a time onto the boat, and as the crates are loaded, you see the waterline rise on Lord Humperdinck's trading vessel.
Jeez. Just being kind of off the cuff. Like, oh, what the heck's in this?
You hear some of the hirelings going, "By Sigmar, it's heavy."
Well, I suppose I'll just keep an eye out.
Blackhand, you can give me a common knowledge with a +20. Everyone else can give me a common knowledge. If you have a perk talent that gives you an increase, that would apply. And the elves can give me a common knowledge with
The increase B.
Sorry? What was that, Albie?
What would the increase be?
For you, it's a +20. And for the elves, it'd probably be flat.
Alright.
What kind of common knowledge?
It'd just be common knowledge. It'd be Reichspiel or Empire. It's just your general common knowledge about the land.
Well, I only have common knowledge L.
You can roll that.
I-
It would be flat because it's an easy test.
Okay, I get a +10 because of a
Okay.
talent.
Yeah. Oh.
Then I
what,
have made a fail because I added a 20 to the test.
yeah, no, it says you succeeded.
Yeah, I think everybody succeeded.
Yeah. For change.
This is like the most common knowledge. Every person ever has heard of it.
You would imagine, from what you've heard of the region, what side of the river we're on, where the mountains are, and Blackhand, you would imagine this would have to be the case because you've seen much of this in your lifetime, and you've seen a lot of it being moved. You imagine it's full of iron. The simple weight of the simple fact of how heavy the crates are, and how close you are to the mountains.
Would it be processed or the
Ingots.
Would it be processed ingots?
It would be ingots, yes.
Oh, okay. Really is back.
Well, technically, you wouldn't know that it's ingots, but I'm telling you it's ingots. Because it's a
We
wooden
know
crate.
it's iron.
And by the sheer amount that is here, you would all know that iron is a decent price. And there's at least 8 or 9 crates being loaded on. There is a decent little fortune.
Do I know if the ship can handle it?
Yeah. The ship, well, you can see on the ship that it has basically 3 colours that go up. It's up its body. The first being green, going all the way down, but the other 2 colours are the waterline. It's still on the green. If it were to go up, so the colours go green, red, and then blue. If it were to go into the blue, it would be dangerous. The boat could capsize. Although it's a riverboat, it's unlikely, but it could. It's currently still on the green level, but it has moved a considerable amount since the crates have been loaded on. A couple of hours go by. You stand guard as the sun rises and the crates are loaded on. You would see that servants come down with what appears to be fresh preserves that are also loaded onto the ship. You're not sure if you will get any, but before long, you see Lord Humperdinck swagger his way through town, his great girth wobbling from side to side, as he seems extremely pleased with himself. He stands and looks at his vessel, and you would all notice that his vision is straight away on the waterline. It appears he knows how much where the waterline was when he got here. Seeing this, he beams, and I believe we have all done rather well here. Hirelings, you will be given an extra. I believe 3 copper each would suffice for your hard work and to show my appreciation. For the rest of you, as I said, time will be the factor. But hopefully he points at your party in particular. Hopefully the rewards will be well worth the wait. Yes. Well, let us board and make way. Profit needs to be made. The glistening rings of sweat under his treble chin glisten even more in the morning sun as it rises and the mist of the morning along the riverbank is burnt away. If he wasn't so large, he would look quite majestic at this moment, but his comedic size defeats that. He makes his way on, all the more pleased with himself nonetheless.
What do we need all those irons for?
Well, I would guess that after everything is done, I would start doing my usual maintenance of the ship before. Or do we return to the tavern?
No, you are essentially, you would have been told that you'll be setting off, so you would have collected your stuff from the tavern. And once everyone is aboard, the ship is underway. Morgan, you are assigned the task of essentially riding your horse all day. A large rope is attached, and one of Lord Humperdinck's servants provides you with new horse and tackle. It's not the full tackle. Essentially, it's a special tackle for the horse that goes in its mouth so that it can help pull the boat. No, sorry, it's not around its mouth. It goes around its back. So it has a bar that leads. Look up riverboat horses in England, or I'll post one in chat at one point. It's essentially that setup, and you would see that Magness's rowboat has a very similar setup. With the two of you now aiding in the propulsion of the vessel, you make good time.
Excellent.
Sorry, I have to bring up my days and weeks of travelling. So, beforehand, you would set off, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was on the 9th that our elves met up with. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was the 9th. Dead horses. Yeah, it was the 9th when everyone met up with Lord Humperdinck, and from the Red Square to where your ship is now is the distance you had travelled over one day. Now you would all notice that there is a vast difference. I actually need to count out, so it's a 2x2. And it's moved 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. In a day, you pass a couple of towns. As you go through, you would notice, especially the elves, that this land appears almost split in two. To your east, you can see lush fields, and the land just seems to scream out plentiful. Even the forests look lusher, greener. And to the west is barren, arid. You imagine it must be hard living. All of you imagine it must be hard living on the west. It would make sense for there to be many bridges and trade routes from east to west, as one appears to be a lush basket a lush basket of growth, just farmland for miles to be seen, whereas the other, not so. In a day, you pass a couple of outpost villages and towns. They seem unassuming. There's nothing really to be noticed, and you know that you would see that Lord Humperdinck does not stop at these minor settlements. There is no engagement during this day. You have a full day and night of travelling, and it all seems calm. On the next day, on the next day, you get halfway through your day, as you see a town, Episwold? Whatever that weird little town is named, you see it come into sight. There is a mighty bridge that crosses over the river, or once crossed over the river. It is utterly destroyed now, but you can see lichen growing on the rocks that protrude from the surface of the water, and where the wind, rain, and the cold winters of Westland have smoothed over the breaks in the rock. It's an odd fact. It's an odd sight to see in an area which would rely on trade so much, but as you come up and closer to the destroyed bridge, you would see that there is a bustling trade of small boats and ferries taking items and goods from east to west and back. There are several small trade outposts on the other side where they unload cargo and caravans stop to pick up cargo. Lord Humperdinck doesn't stop for long. He does have one of his men shout out to slow the boat's progress, and you do eventually come to a stop for a short time as he appears to be talking to the local traders. There isn't a crane here, so actually getting cargo on and off of his boat would be an undertaking in itself. But he appears to just be talking, getting a bit of information. Can you all give me perception tests, please?
Flat perception.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
have a
flat.
question. Is this a new day?
Yes.
So I'm gonna use one of my fashion points. Just
It
because.
is day-wise. It is the 14th, so you should have
Yeah, no,
refreshed
sorry.
two points.
Yeah, I'm using one of mine too. But no, the
I'm gonna
current
use one of
doesn't want
mine.
me to see anything.
That's
Hey,
a very
my
good
Nice
people.
looking at.
okay. That's better.
So, I believe only one person fails in the end.
Yeah,
Who did well?
it's, I
Okay.
can see one. Or rather, I don't notice anything. What did you say?
You would all see that at the dock, on the other side of the road, there's a large number of children, a large number of young people, and apprentices. You don't see any sign that anything has happened here.
Go back to your home. They need you back in the world of Eldor. I would hope. What's the word? Alright.
Is Spoons breaking up for anyone else?
Burns is on his phone, don't forget.
No, but you are breaking up for me.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll disconnect and reconnect. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Better.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seems
Okay.
like it was on my end.
Okay. I'll make sure to reinforce to the group that all of these people seem to have They're young'uns, and apprentices and stuff. Yet, only a few days away is most of them has none. Sure, if a plague swept through here and killed all the young, would it came here, maybe? Unless they're very prepared for it.
You would notice that there are no fixed buildings on the other side. There's no like houses built there. Whereas there is a dock on the other side next to Episwold.
What do you think? Should we inquire into it or leave it for now? Take that as a leave it for now, I suppose.
So, for those of you who got a couple of degrees, oh yeah, no, there's a few of you. For anyone who got 2 degrees and more, you would hear parts of a discussion with Lord Humperdinck, and most of it is about trading and about prices and wares and goods. But he does mention, as he pulls a silk handkerchief from his pocket and places it over his mouth, but did you not hear about the plague, about the sickness down south? And the person who he's talking with seems to know about it, but replies if didn't seem to cross the water, my lord. Although we didn't see anyone. No traders have come with a sickness, although there were some odd things have been happening. A few weeks back, I suppose. 2 weeks, I guess. But no, we've had no plague, and trade has been good, except from, well, he points to the other side of the river. He points to this side of the river. People on this side seem to have caught something, or something's happened to them, but up north they say it's a curse, not a plague. A curse? What do you mean, a curse? Are the witch hunters looking into it? The colleges of mad? I don't know, sir. That's just what they're saying. There's a bit more talk about if medical items are in higher demand at the moment, and the man gives Lord Humperdinck a dirty look, very briefly, but does inform him that certain medical items are selling for more to those desperate, as is common. And the conversation soon starts to peter out once the talk about exploiting people for profit turns up.
Okay.
And your little convoy, not convoy actually, just your boat, I guess, carries on its way. And I believe you have another 2 to move before another day passes.
Which side of the river were they talking on? East
They
side?
were talking on the west side,
West side.
as that's where most of the cargo was being unloaded from. It seemed easier to stop and have a chat on the west side, whereas on the east side, next to Episwold, is more bustling. There's more people unloading stuff, and it seems a bit more hectic. So, with another day gone, you are now on the 15th. Yeah, no, there it is. We're now on the 15th. And you move forwards. You're now moving on land, but we'll ignore that for now. You travel for a full day. Hang on, have I got... Where's the game notes? Yep, sorry, you travel for another full day. Again, he doesn't stop on the smaller towns, but as you make your way, you do see Geschkeborg, yeah, cool, why not? Again, it appears to be quite a busy little town, much smaller than Wolfsburg, but I would give it to you that as you're passing by and you have more information now, you see that there are children playing, you can hear them, and there doesn't seem to be any malady going on. However, on the evening of the 15th, you arrive at another town that I'm going to destroy. Helsingborg. Helsingborg? Yeah.
Heisenberg.
Oh, Heisenberg. Thank you. As you get to
Is it
Heisenberg,
meth here?
you would see that Lord Humperdinck prepares to dock. He informs you all that they will be spending time. You will be spending time at this town. However, as your boat approaches, one of the guards who is on lookout at the docks raises his lantern. The sun is just beginning to set now, and he raises his lantern and waves it from side to side before covering the light and shining it again. He does 3 low flashes. Lord Humperdinck is going to roll to see if he knows what this means. Well, no, he knows what this means.
Can I make a roll? Common knowledge, or would it be?
So it wouldn't be common.
Trade?
It would be so technically, this was meant to be a bit for Magness.
Oh.
So Magness will shout out and tell the group that it's river signs. It's signs to let a Morse code that rivermen use and boatmen. It's an emergency or distress.
Distress?
Yeah, distress.
Oh. Okay.
You don't entirely know what's going on, but as the
It's a
boat
meth epidemic.
comes closer to the town, the boat, Lord Humperdinck informs you all to slow your progress, and you get within shouting distance of the guard. And he shouts out to you, "Hold there! Don't come any closer! We appear to have a curse upon the town. Do you have priests?" No, we don't have priests. What do you mean, curse? People fall sick. They get ill, or they show no signs of sickness, but they die anyway. Young, old. We've sent word to Nullen and to Whistleborg. Yeah, I think it's Vistelberg.
Lovely. This plague appears to be everywhere.
It's not plague, it's a curse. Because they're not showing signs of sickness, they're just dying.
Really, we just try to say curse plague, whatever it is.
Should we check it out? Try to
Probably.
convince Humperdinck to check it out?
Maybe it could be profitable if you could find the source of this plague or curse.
Yeah.
And if you
Maybe,
could,
maybe there's some way to help and ooh, that's a lot of cure to sell.
Are we going upstream or downstream?
Up.
bring up.
Did we find any more bodies along the road?
No, you haven't seen any floaters in the river.
Yeah, that's odd. If there was a plague going on, we'd see more floaters or corpses along the riverside.
We were in Westerberg. Sorry, probably Westerberg.
We're in Heisenberg.
No, come down. When we were in Westerberg, did they say how long it was since the plague had started down there? Curse.
I think they said it was a few days.
Okay.
I thought it was weeks.
Was it weeks or days? I can't remember now.
Weeks.
Weeks. Okay.
Weeks. Aurelia will shout out to whoever is in the harbor. Excuse me, but when did this curse strike you? Has it been going on for weeks, months? How long has it been?
It's been about 5 days. Been about 5 days since the noises, and then people dying.
What noises?
What noise?
Eerie musics at night. It's a curse, we tell you.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Oh. Can I
Right.
roll academic magic? Academic knowledge magic?
Sure. There's a -20 on it.
Sorry, I forgot my 2 is the deafening key. -20?
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure I pick the right one. Oh shit, no, it's +20.
No, minus.
Yeah, there we go.
Can I roll as well?
Gonna roll a
Sure.
fortune.
It would be again -20.
Hey! I have no more fortune points.
Nope.
So remember, for every day that you sleep, you regen a fortune point.
Yes, I have 1 fortune point. Thank you.
Ah, okay. So, Casper, you're not entirely sure where you know this from, and you don't know the exact types. You know that music can be an instrument to it can be a medium for a spell or for a ritual. It can be that you could use a spell and that those who hear the spell are affected, whilst those who don't hear it would not be affected. You're not entirely sure if you could curse someone with music. You seem to remember hearing an old story. Can you roll me your common knowledge? If you have any travelers, if you have any like seasoned traveler, add it. Because of your natural free, you already have a basis for where you're going with this, so you can have a +10
Okay.
onto it as well.
Alright. Okay.
with an 8.
Good stuff.
You've heard stories, dark stories of minstrels who pick up an item or who aren't quite good enough to be the court minstrel. Someone just beats them, their rival, their nemesis, and they can't beat them no matter how hard they practice and how long. But then something lands into their lap. It might be an instrument, it might be an item, something that moves them and is their muse. And for a short time they are able to produce wondrous arts or magnificent minstrel pieces. But all too soon the stories turn dark, of minds corrupted, of souls changed. You've heard stories and legends of these dark minstrels, but you've never thought they were real. Hearing this, what the guard is telling you, and with more information being passed on, you have a worrying feeling in your guts that something like this must be the cause, because there is no magic spell from the colleges that you could think of, that you've ever heard of, that would do this. It would have to be something darker.
Okay. I would relay kind of the bulk of the information of, not the bulk, but the more key parts of it. It seems like some odd spell or non college spell possibly, and the information about the dark minstrels to the group.
Lovely. Shall we make...
Hmm?
Should we get earplugs then? And since this appears to be moving north, if the next town still hasn't been cursed, it might be a good idea to stop there and wait for whoever is coming, so you can kill him and, well, end the curse.
What if he's still here? If he's still here, playing the music or whatever, because he's only been here for 5 days. He's been there weeks ago for forever. How long was last time?
I'll ask the man down there if the music is still playing.
So, Mordred, your horse would have been moved to the west side. Just to clarify this, you're not walking right up next to the cursed or diseased place. And the boat is on the west side of the river. Sorry, east. Sorry, I fucked up then. Everything's on the east side. So the boat is moved slower, further along, so that the Lord Humperdinck doesn't have to stress his voice trying to shout this individual. Whilst you have been relaying the information to your comrades, Lord Humperdinck is. But so what do you need? What supplies are you low on? I it would be a shame if you didn't have what you needed to help your people. He appears to be. Sorry, go on.
I'm just going to turn to the group and say, should we see if we can stop here and investigate for the night, or find this minstrel later?
Well,
It's going to be a group decision, I think.
I spaced out for a little bit. Did the guys down there say the music was still playing?
It plays at night. It's not.
But is it still playing at night here? Or did it stop after 5 days ago?
It's been playing. Did he say it's been playing every night for the past 5 nights?
No, he said something. He said music he said there was strange things that were going on, and that some strange eerie music was playing. If you as the guard seems to pay no attention to Lord Humperdinck's requests at what supplies do you need. So he would give you more information. That a couple of weeks ago is when this happened, when the first incidents started to arise. And it was 2 weeks ago, which is a week is 8 days in fantasy. So 16 days ago was when the first incident of this curse happened. And they heard music on the 16 days ago.
Okay.
Can you give me a charm check? You can all give me charm checks as you talk to the guard and try and get information out of him. He does seem very anxious, angry that no priests are here, and he would need someone to at least try to calm him in some ways.
Goddamn.
With 2 degrees of success, Olivia is able to pass on some words of encouragement, talking about her people and being vastly knowledgeable on such things. He would calm down and enough to tell you more details, that the music was only for one night, and everyone who heard the music seemingly at random began to drop like flies. He would tell you that the only other suspicious thing that had happened was around 20 days ago, a caravan turned up late at night with no paperwork or documents and wished to enter, and they weren't allowed. They were told to circle up by the front gate, and in the morning they could enter. The caravan owner was not happy about this, but he left. They didn't bother waiting till morning. That was the only strange thing that they had happen. And then after that, he would tell you that some people, the reason why they want you to stay away is that as traders are coming in, some of them are fine, whereas others who seemingly have family living in or who were living in the town, after a few days they die, and they don't know why.
Okay.
And whose family dying exactly?
So if a trade caravan comes to this town at the moment, and anyone in the caravan had family who lived there but died from this curse, they will die within a few days. The others, so if they don't have family within the town, they appear to be able to come and go. But so many people who have come from the surrounding countryside have ended up dying, that they've tried to put this quarantine in effect. But he tells you Lord Humperdinck brings up the plague down south, but stopping but not crossing, and he seems bewildered that there's been no plague here. No one has caught a disease and been throwing up or had lesions, and they just seem to be fine one minute, and then the next their energy falls and they drop to the floor and they are no more.
Hmm. It is interesting the fact that all family members get afflicted by this curse, but who doesn't have family here doesn't get afflicted. I do know of something that once happened to, well, a friend of mine's crop, but it's not the same thing.
Oh, lost spoons.
We lost homes. It's not the same thing, so again, I think we should keep moving up north and see if we can find whoever it is that is casting this curse.
We need to keep an eye out for minstrels and this caravan, I think.
Indeed. We find
Yeah.
this person, remember to, get earplugs. And we should probably kill him and see if that will end the curse.
Yeah, we're gonna need earplugs or beeswax or something.
Rally will go take a piece of cloth and start making a makeshift earplug just in case. Well then.
Livia will want to talk to Casper, so
Okay.
he tells her the stories that he remembers.
I'd really relay the stories from what I remember or what I know, just to whoever wants to know. Don't think there is anything we can do to help Heisenberg though. Yes, Bones.
Hi there.
Galore. Sadly, Lord Humperdinck doesn't hear any of your conversation about helping people, and after hearing that you would overhear that the man shouting back just keeps saying, "No, we don't need any of your goods. We need priests. We need knowledgeable folk on curses." And Lord Humperdinck just seems to be getting more and more frustrated at the prospect and the prospect of not making profit anyway.
I could approach. I will approach Humperdinck and say I do have some knowledge on magic and a little bit of necromancy due to the college teaching me. If you think that might help, maybe there'll be a reward or something.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Well, they don't want any of my goods, so I have tried to offer assistance, but well, for one, I don't exactly want to step foot on. How should I know if my descendants didn't come from, noble blood from this region and from where I'm from? It's risky.
But think of it like this. We don't have to go down. We can go down there, and if we become friends with the villagers, that could that could improve the chances of you selling things for them down there, because they might be just scared, and if they see that they can trust us, they could be a potential buyer for your goods. After all, you are selling healing drafts, aren't you? Think
Well,
of the
like this.
profit.
The dwarf, and the two elves, three elves, sorry, are going to be safe because I'm pretty sure they don't have family members in this village or town. I'm willing to take the risk, go in and investigate, and if we can find something.
I would be very surprised if I had family in
Exactly.
in our human build.
I'm willing to go in and investigate, see if there is something we can do to help. Who knows? If we help them, they might buy all of the things from us that they need, or just pay us Binding, maybe. Don't know. Won't know till we do it.
But well, very well. You can have 3 hours to poke around. It will give a moment for the horse to rest, I suppose, and the rowers to take a break. But as you look around, the rest of the crew look petrified at this idea. They're all, well, many of them have been hired from the surrounding regions, well, down south, but a lot of them consider themselves Visselanders, or Westlanders, however you want to say it. But if you are willing to take the risk, Lord Humperdinck sees the profit in your idea. So the ship is brought not actually to dock at the town. He actually leaves at least like a 1.5 foot gap that you all have to do a little hop to get onto the docks, as he doesn't even want to. Or a leap.
We probably have to hurl the dwarf across.
No dwarf throwing. The dwarf can jump across himself.
It's
I
only
would
a
have
foot and a half.
suggest,
No
docking the
Gimli
boat
throwing.
from the other side of the river, then using the small boat to ship us over.
That's actually a good idea, yeah.
If you
Probably
wanted to
like
play it safe.
Yeah.
He's
We
already
don't
done
want-
it. He's already done it now. He gets it in his there's no gangplank put across. He does leave a full,
Just a
his
full
boat.
gap.
There is air. There is a 1.5 foot of, which is 12, 18 centimeters of nothingness, which you all have to just. Give a little
Oh, 18 centimeters. That can be hopped.
It's
Nope, we
even
better
for our
just throw
dwarven
the
friend. Even for our dwarven friend, it's not much of a. It's a little skip.
Somehow I had in my mind a gap of half a meter, 2/3 of a meter.
For some reason, I can already see this dwarf sweating as he's preparing to make the jump. It's like nothing at all.
Little 18-inch gap, and he's just psyching himself up, squatting his knees, and doing the whole Olympic thing. Just 1, 2. Oh, okay.
The guard seems quite shocked that you're all coming over. So the elves, he's quite shocked at seeing anyway. For the elven characters, just get used to that. Your kind aren't very common wandering about the human lands. Around here, there are more dwarves. So Black Hand isn't as out of the ordinary. But he's still quite shocked on top of that you're coming over, and well, if you think you can help, by all means have a look around. Any house marked with red has been affected. You can't go into them. We've locked them until their goods can be given to their next of kin.
That's gonna be a bit difficult if they enter the town and keel over.
It diverts back to the local lord.
Fair enough. Alright then.
No,
We
let's
may
go
need
check it then.
to get into 1 or 2. Possibly. If it's the site where they died, we might have to.
Oh, forgive me, but I think I'm gonna check the outside of the town because there may be tracks or dead animals outside that could be an indication.
Maybe
Good
talk
idea.
to a village elder or something.
Could also
Should
be
we
good.
split in 2 groups then? One group goes out and looks for dead animals, and one stays inside and looks for clues.
We could do that.
Yeah, I mean, we have limited time, so splitting up
Yeah.
might be good.
Well, then, I'm going this way. Who's coming with me? I suggest you, well, smarter people stay behind and talk to the elders and, well, poke around the town.
Alright.
All right.
So which one do you want to do first?
I presume I'm supposed to be one of the smarter dudes.
Who's looking round town first? Because I think that'd probably be the easier one.
I would look around town. I am.
Okay.
Me, Black Hand, anyone else, or they go outside?
Not particularly.
Okay. So as you walk round, for those of you who are coming round town, you take one circuit round to have a look what's going on, if you can see anything. It is around sunset now, so the sun has gone down. It is getting darker. There would normally be less people in certain areas, but then at the local tavern, and if the town has more than one tavern, would be livelier. You walk into the market district and you can clearly see that some of the fixed tables, some of those traders who go there every day and who have managed to put up a little stall for themselves, some of them are covered in just general dirt and not maintained. They just look like no one's attended to them for some.
Would I realize if there is a certain type of trader, or all
No,
traders equal?
this is just a stand. There wouldn't be any equipment out. It's just a little wooden stand that in the morning they can put their wares on.
Okay.
No boards with stuff XY or anything, just wood.
Yeah, just a basic. I mean, they wouldn't leave a sign up because they're valuable. They would set that up in the day, but you can tell from some of the constructions, Iron Hand, that some of these people are wealthy traders. You can see that the wood is a hardwood. It's not a cheap softwood, and I mean others are. Some are much older and in disrepair. Naturally, you can see the aging of time on the wood, but you can clearly see that there's a couple of stands. So let's say there's about 6 to 7 stands. 4 of them have got just general dirt on them, like birds, feathers, perhaps bird shit, just general dirt as is. And others have clearly been wiped down, like someone has got there early this morning, wiped it down, set up their wares for the day, and have then closed down and packed everything up and gone home. And you can see around the stands there are footprints, and you can see that certain areas, the cleaner stands, there are a small amount of traffic, whereas around the more run down stands there's less traffic to none. You can definitely see that some of them are look like they've had, you know, weeks, 2 weeks to be precise, of just neglect, whereas others a week or so. As you move through the market district, you would notice that on the main promenade, the main road that runs through the town that would deal with most of the villagers, the Lord's manor, and the market connecting to the market district, there's very little traffic as well. This is still mud. It's not a wealthy enough place to have stone cobbles, and you can see there's very few footprints and there's very few cart tracks. As you look round at the houses within the town, there are a few with lights on, flickering candle lights, and you can see through the shutters where they've closed up for the night, just a crack in the window. You can see light coming through, but you would guess that at least 30 to 40% of the houses have no lights on at all.
Ooh. What about the lords?
And is it still too late before... it's still too early to have so many houses completely devoid of light?
It is sunset, so there is no more natural light. So now is the time when you'd have the street lamps lit, if you had street lamps, or houses would start needing it for their natural light. As you look up at the Lord's Manor, you can see that there are some lights on, but only some. It's a nice house. It's a large house. It's not walled and garrisoned. It doesn't look magnificently built or anything like that. It is a structure that's the figurehead of the town, but it seems that it's very aged and not well looked after from what you could see of it. The grounds look unkept and there are very few lights on.
Strange.
Yeah.
Any clue what we can find? Any idea what we could try to look for?
Well, with such a, what was it like? It looks to be around 30% of 30 to 40% of the people here have passed away. How did all these people hear the music without the rest of them hearing it at the same time? Was it the minority of it heard it rather than the majority?
You hear a voice from one of the houses as you're looking out and checking, looking at different windows. Hey, who are you? What are you doing? You had best not be thinking of robbing any of these houses. I will call what's left of the guard on you.
We're here to look out. We're here to figure out what happened to you guys. Do you have anything that's worth of telling us?
Is this true? Is this for... You have finally come to look into this. A gentleman comes out of his house. He was one of the ones where you saw a crack through his shutters. He's quite a tall gentleman, long black flowing hair, holds himself with a sort of air of dignity, of a nobility, but clearly through his dress, not so much.
Well, yes, we decided to come across and investigate.
Do you have anything to tell us?
Do you have any information that could help? Do you remember any music? Or...
Oh yes, yes, there was music, eerie music. 2 weeks or so. And that's when everyone who was born from here, my sweet wife included, passed away.
People who were born here were affected?
It seems to be the... as you can tell, I am not from here. I am from Britannia.
Yeah, I called it.
Yeah, same.
The French accent kind of made it obvious.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
How
Do
long
you
have
have-
you been here?
Oh, I have lived here for 5 or 6 years now.
And some of your neighbors, some of the ones who managed to make it, would they be around the same? Anyone who's survived that's been here since day one, really? Not day one.
do you
Anyone who was
know?
born here who survived the strangeness?
No, it is quite strange. The only people who seem to still be living in this accursed town are those who are not from here. Myself, a few traders who came from the north, souths, easts, wests. He thinks to himself. Not west. That's Elven territory. But yes, and all the locals, they are all gone now. And my children, they did not. He goes extremely dour. They did not make it. The local priest, he died. Well, he was one of the first to go. This is why the Lord sent requests for more priests, but we have heard no reply.
Well, I am terribly sorry to hear about your loss. I hope we can find something that can at least help you discover what happened.
Thank you for your kind words. This town is lost. It is. We have. He just seems to just accept the reality of what he's probably been trying to hide for some time. That there's almost no one left, except from those who moved here from other lands or other provinces.
Were you there when do you know of the trader who was here at the moment, who was refused entrance the first day?
He as you bring up the trader or the caravan that turned up, yes, someone said that we had rumors that there was plague down south, and then this trader turns up at late. The story. He thinks to himself, and it was maybe 3, 4 in the morning when he arrived, and he apparently got very angry. There were many carts with him, but he refused to make a circle at the front of town, and the next day, or that night, I forget, the music started to play. It was evil, I tell you. There was nothing good about the sounds and the noises. He begins to start to scratch and rub his arm, almost as if a coping mechanism for what's transpired over the last few weeks.
Well then.
Do you know where they were heading, or who was the leader of the caravan?
We know. I only know that they are going up north. They were moving very slowly. They had old wagons and beat up beasts of burden.
He had what, sorry?
Beat up wagons and beasts of burden.
Okay.
You know what they were transporting, or have any clue?
No, they were not let into the town. They had no paperwork from the stories that the guards told everyone.
So no clue out of sharks.
No.
No, they're not. I'll kind of move closer to him and whisper, just, do you have any knowledge of dark minstrels? I'll take a risk. Hello?
Wow. So I will say there are some times when I do GM roles just to see what kind of knowledge the person would have. This guy's doing all right. He's had a 15, a 20, and a 23. I have heard rumors, but never stories, legends, not in reality. He could confirm that stories do exist, but he doesn't have any other particular knowledge.
Right. Okay. For the music, no way he could tell what kind of instruments were used. So yeah, that's probably a reach, to be honest. God damn it, Lucas.
I will give you art. I think that would make sense that he would kind of know this. It sounded like carnival music. Instruments
Okay.
for carnivals. Or the circus, perhaps.
Okay. Right, well, thank you, sir. You've assisted our investigation and hopefully it truly happened, and hopefully bring whoever caused it. There has to be a cause. Bring them forth and bring them justice, hopefully.
Well, I wish you luck, gentlemen. It is just men with this group, isn't it? I believe so. It is just men with this group, isn't it?
I think so.
Yes,
oh, yeah,
it is.
script, yes. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you, gentlemen. I wish you all the best, and may the lady watch after you, even if you do not wish her to.
Give him a tip of the head.
I greet the man, and I think we both make movements to leave. Hello?
Sure.
Just before I just, because he did a god thing, I'll do a god thing. Just may more greet your family at his door and with open arms.
He gives you basically a friendly goodbye as he goes back in. Perhaps a slight weight lifted off his shoulders, but you get the feeling that he's not an individual who would give in so easily. We now go to the rest of the group, who I believe wanted to look outside and around the surrounding countryside, essentially, or well, around the town, the outside. Was that right?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
The other group, did you want to go round the outside of the town to see if there was anything?
Yeah, he really wants to check out the surrounding area to see, basically, if there are any dead critters or anything weird outside the town that she could do,
Okay.
look at and see, basically follow trail.
So
So-
you've got 3 hours. That's what Malius basically gave you.
Yep.
The group in the town have probably spent around an hour wandering about as you guys leave to go and look around the outside. How long would you like to spend looking?
I really would go for about 2 hours, just looking around. Like you
Okay.
should just see if she can see anything weird outside town. Basically, find dead animals, see if there are any weird tracks around.
Would you confine your search to a particular, like north of the town or south of the town?
The god did tell us that they had to go around to get into the town, so
Yes.
she would basically look around the roads.
Okay, so you would essentially go from the south gate, work your way around the town along the river, and then look up to the north.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, give me then a... So how many squares is... And how...
Fall trail, survival.
I'll tell you what, give me a perception test with a plus 10. This will be using up an hour of your time, and this will be mainly focusing in around the town and along the road that goes around. You'll go a little bit south and a little bit north, but you'll always keep the town in sight.
Yep. Okay.
Should I roll as well?
If you're with her, then yes, by all means.
Okay.
I'm going to fortune that. So the target will be 61, but that's a natural one. So give me.
Okay, so Irelia, as you're looking at the south gate and trying to see if you can see any tracks, or as you go a little bit further down south, you don't really see anything. There's nothing there that gives you any descriptions. So you work your way along the river and you start heading north slightly. Because once you get up north, you can just about see the town in sight. And you see an area. It's a raised bank. You're not quite sure what it is, but as you look and you can see that there's some lush green scrub bushes and just the small plants that would be able to survive on such arid, such rugged land. You see that at the top there's a dark patch. The patch that doesn't seem right. And two of you go up further. You go on for another 15-20 minutes to get to the top of this ridge. And what you see when you get to the top of the ridge is the entire ridge is raised above the road, and there is a circle. It's a large circle. It's probably about trying to use a measurement that everyone can use. It'd be a 5-meter diameter, but trying to work that out for everyone else who doesn't use.
Basically, one of those giant balls for that you see with in oil processing.
Is it just a black patch, as in everything inside
so-
this circle is dead, or?
Essentially, there's a massive circle. which appears to be laid out very meticulously. And you can see that there are areas where it's clearly darker. And when you kneel down to investigate the grass, you go to touch it and it turns to dust, as if the life has been sucked out of it. You don't step in to the circle. As you walk round its circumference, you can just about make out the darker patches, but you have no idea what those darker patches and shapes could be. Only you feel something very dark.
Can I take a twig and throw into those dark patches to see if anything happens?
Sure. As you throw a twig in, nothing happens. You may even dig up a piece of dirt with some still living grass and chuck it on. Nothing appears to happen.
Oh, whatever.
Can I take an academic knowledge magic test?
Sure. There's a -20.
Even after the stuff that Casper told me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Not in your knowledge. You wouldn't know about this, which is a -10, and then not knowing which type of magic is another -10. I worked it out earlier that there's 2 minuses for it's the law and the winds or something along those lines. I can definitely give you, even on a failure, that it's got to do with magic. This clearly looks like it has something to do with magic, but you can't grasp the shapes so it's like everything is dead and brown, but there are black areas, and those black areas seem to depict certain shapes or descriptions or something. You're not quite sure, but as you look at it and you think upon the winds of magic, your skin begins to crawl, as if someone was pissing on your grave. There is a deep sinking feeling in your gut. For both elves, the deep sinking feeling in your gut, as if this is just not right. This should not be.
Should I try speak arcane language magic? Or would that be delving too deep?
So
you try to speak magic to it, you mean?
It technically wouldn't have an effect to speak magic around other magic. If you had
it's more
magic
to
sense,
try and read the signs.
Here's the thing: is it? I don't think are there any magical signs in the ground?
there are shapes and things that. I mean, that's what I was using your academic knowledge for, to see if you had seen these shapes or symbols, or to speak words around this wouldn't have any effect. I mean, you can roll, but there'd be no effect.
Okay.
Oh, this is more up your area, Lydia. But if all the time I spent with my little sister taught me something, is that we should probably disturb whatever the fuck this is and let Mother Hisha recover the land. And if you have anything you want to throw there and make any prayers, I suggest you do it. Really will go grab a large enough stick so she can start scribbling out the signs and basically destroying the circle as best she can.
Do you cross over? Do you actually walk on the dead land? Okay.
No.
I don't think I was. So for what I said, the uncomfortable feeling, crank it up a couple of notches. You are elves. This is utterly abhorrent to you. Even those of you who know about magic and know that the earth can heal, this is just wrong. Like, as you scrape at the dirt, Livia, you scrape down and even the dirt seems scorched and barren of life, and you just keep scraping away, and it just seems to go on and on.
I don't know who did this. Whoever it is, I'll pull their heart out. I'll carve
Yeah.
out their heart with a spoon.
We should definitely put an end to them.
Yeah, I'll carve out their heart with a fucking spoon. So they will learn not to trifle with their chest nature. We should really, really kill whoever did this. Riley will say she keeps scribbling away and destroying the circle as best she can. By doing this, does she feel any better at all, or the feeling is the feeling still there?
No, the feeling is still there.
You know, really wish my little sister was here right about now. She could probably try something with this. But oh well. I'll grab a few stones and toss them over the circle.
Would Livia know anything about how to revert that curse?
So,
Or how to, try to lessen the suffering of the town?
of the town, no. I was thinking of the land that you're looking at the moment. That's like a scorched earth tactic. It will be fucked for generations. As you look back at the town and you think, you try and put the two together, you would quickly come to the conclusion that this is far, far beyond your current understanding of the different winds of magic. But then seeing the circle here and feeling that gut-wrenching feeling of just abhorrent evil is something so disgusting and cruel that would do this to the land and also these people. It's something evil. You know that much, and your current knowledge isn't enough for you to be able to aid these people at this moment in time. However, I would give you that what little you know about curses, hexes, and those types of things, at least you'd have a feeling that if the caster is killed, that should stop the magic with any luck, if their gods care for them.
As soon as Aurelia is done, well, basically destroying the circle signs and whatnot, she will start going around and she will start writing down elven runes on the ground. Basically, elven runes of the seed for Visha and elven runes of water life. She's basically trying to create a circle of runes around the circle to basically indicate, this place needs to be recovered.
Sure.
She's basically trying to make a circle around the circle of basically runes of light and regrowth, hope, life, etc.
Sure. You can take some time to do that. I would have probably said it would take you about 10 minutes to... Well, are you trying to break away all the brown, dead plant life? Or are you just going after the black shapes and images and scripts.
Just trying to fuck up the entire thing.
Sure.
If there's anything there that was, basically looking like a sign or a sigil, she would try to disturb that.
So it's been an hour and 20 minutes for you to get here. If we add on another probably 10 minutes to destroy the mark, and then probably 20 minutes to carve into the ground elven script, basically elven words, and then another 20 minutes to get back to town, you're within your 2 hours.
Yep.
Okay.
So for the group in the town, you would have wandered about a little bit further. There's a few other areas to look at, but you wouldn't really find anything. You'd probably wait at the centre of town for about half an hour before you would see your elven comrades come back.
I really wish I had magical sense.
You and me both.
Oh.
That's one of the first things you people need to get. Come on.
Yeah. See, I wanted to throw spells first. I'm 50 XP off spells, and then the other 100 will be magical sense. Anyway, with the elves approaching, wave them over and suppose share what we've learned. Only the people who were native to the city have died. The people who moved in from other provinces or completely other countries are fine to a degree. A lot of them lost loved ones, but it's not just if you hear the music, or they have heard the music. It's just people from this area were the ones that were killed. So that kind of explains how not everyone's died and knows that music was playing. What about you guys?
Olivia would tell him about the mark ritual circle outside of town.
Oh.
There's a ridge over that way. Big black circle. Feels completely wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, and whoever did that will probably die by my hands. Hopefully.
Probably long gone by now. Well, did you investigate it or look around it?
Oh, anything you got anything else out of this town? Unless you guys think of something else, I think we should just head back to the bold and keep going. Whoever did this headed north, so.
Okay.
So, if there's nothing else that you want to look into in this accursed town, you go back to the docks, and with a little hop, skip, and a jump, you were back aboard the ship.
Before jumping on the ship, I will tell the guardsman that greeted us that we've taken a look around. Tell them that we found what appears to be a ritual site in the hills outside of town. The elves have tried to disrupt it. It might have helped, might not have. Seems everyone who survived is fine. Anyone from this province that comes in here might have a risk of falling ill to its effects, but recommend they can do what they can, either move on or try to rebuild. Warn if they can send a bird north with a message, maybe, to warn other towns and or villages.
He thanks you for the information, and when you mention the ritual site, he goes quite pale, and he informs you that messages will be sent to whatever birds they still have that can make the journeys to the larger cities and temples will be informed, and he tells you that with any luck, priests and witch hunters will come and aid them in their plight.
Hopefully. And with the nod, I jump back on the boat.
And that is where we end today's episode.
Okay.
As our heroes investigate and learn about the evil that is striking this province. We will see in the next episode if they are able to stop or find out more about what is going on. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and are looking forward to the next one. So take care, everyone, and as always, bye-bye for now.